Welcome, friends. I'm Gina Nicole, and this is the Goddess Channel. And today I have a very deep message for you that I almost reconsidered even recording because I know it's going to unlock some things inside of you that maybe are uncomfortable, especially to your, how do I say this, ego structure or current paradigms that are ancestral and that are looking to shift in your life. Now, all of us have an ego so that we can be human, right? So this is not about, denying the ego or any of that sort of thing. But when I say ego structures, what I mean is what's hanging on to sameness and stress, ancestral conditioning, the patriarchy, business as usual, all of these kind of things that keep us stuck in what some might call the matrix, or a sort of holding pattern that is limiting our growth. But just know that it's not actually limiting our growth in any real sense, because it's just a tool that is helping us to see truth by contrast. So there's many, many, many layers to that, but I just want to make it clear, nothing wrong with ego in itself, but when ego is our operating system and not just a tool, that's where there's a problem. So if we are functioning from ego, that means we're functioning from an old world paradigm that is no longer helpful for you in an awakening journey. And so anywhere that we look to old patterns, old paradigms, old ways of doing things, staying stuck, staying complicit, staying in a comfort zone that isn't really a comfort zone, in order to stay small, safe, trapped, etc., etc., etc. Just know that there's actually nothing to be done by your curious nature, they're telling me, and by your desire for light, your desire for growth, your desire for expansion, your desire to expand love, which is especially what we're talking about today. All is going according to plan. So anywhere that you're holding on to any worry that you're doing it wrong, everything that is, we're just going to bring it all up. Anywhere you're holding on to worry that you're doing it wrong, that you're not getting it right, that you are too slow, that you're behind, that you have to keep up, all of these paradigms that actually keep us more stuck, okay? Everything that is, we're just going to bring all of that up across all time, space, dimension, and reality, known or unknown, seen or unseen, multidimensional, multi-parallel, and beyond. Across all ancestries, bringing it all up out of your field, all of the fields of all souls who with their own free will are ready to release this. We're going to bring it all up. We're going to collapse it right down to be completely transmuted and healed in divine source light. It is done, it is done, it is done. 3 times it is done, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I don't do a lot of healings and clearings anymore because I feel that keeps us stuck in healing and clearing patterns all the time, but occasionally they'll pop up and you'll hear me do something like that. So today what's coming in is actually about divine love, divine partnership, romantic love. There are many of us who are light bringers, way showers on this ascension path, who are literally trailblazers, paving the way for future generations, for beings who are even yet to incarnate. And there is oftentimes, they say it's lonely at the top. Well, when you are ahead of most of the pack, it presents a whole different set of, I don't want to put anything on us here, but there can be loneliness, there can be grief, there can be, pressure in a sense. There can be all sorts of different things that happen from a good place, right? So as beings that are here to aid the world in ascension, it can be especially challenging when it feels like, why don't I have love in my life? The love that I desire, the love that I long for, the love that, I'm so tongue-tied, the love that I can feel, literally, like when you are aware and you're awake and you're empathic or you're sensitive or you are clairvoyant or clairsentient in some way, it can feel incredibly painful, unfair, upsetting when you don't have love in your life in the way that you would love to experience it, because you know what oneness feels like. You know what divine union feels like. You're an old soul. And you don't even have to be an old soul to understand this. You've been in spirit and you're still deeply, profoundly, integrally, I don't know why they're bringing that word in that I don't even know how to pronounce, integrally, infused with spirit, intertwined with spirit, part of spirit. And so there's a part of you that totally remembers this, what it feels like to be in divine union. And so you might be like, what the heck? Why is this not happening for me? Why do I not have my soulmate partner, my divine beloved, doing this life with me? And God, spirit, source, whatever word you like to use, creator, has this deep, deep reverence for you, this deep compassion and empathy and honoring of you for taking this journey when it's not meant to be on the straight and narrow. Okay, let's just call it what it is. We all know that this life is a show, let's call it, in some regards, that it's chaotic, it's messy. We come here with like partial amnesia, but not enough amnesia to not be in pain and not be hurt and not be devastated all the time. Like there's a lot that comes with being a very aware soul in a journey of amnesia, but like not totally, on a planet where the general vibration is fear. That is a big ask. And when we're used to the concept of being able to instantly create, instantly manifest, to do all of these kind of things, and now we're limited by the experience of a human nervous system and everything that we have attached to that, all of our energy bodies. We have an emotional body, we have mental bodies, we have, a soul, we have an aura, we have, all of these different, the physical body, we have all of these different levels of self, creating this deeply complex experience. And on one hand, it's like, why? Like, could we just have not done this? And like, passed go, collected $200. But, we joke. But what's interesting is to expand consciousness, to expand love and compassion, all of these expansive energies that we are here to expand. We came here willing to dive to the depths, to prove that in the depths, you can only return to the light. Might take you a while, might take you lifetimes, but we came here to show the power of love that has never been witnessed before. where you can dive so freaking deeply into the dark, into darkness, into utter despair, devastation, panic, upheaval, guilt, sorrow, sadness, despair, all of these things. Shame upon shame upon shame upon shame. And yet find yourself only seeking the light once again. I mean, if you're looking for miracles, look in the mirror. Seriously, if you are looking for a miracle, look in the mirror. Because isn't that what I just described? And isn't that what you've done? And not just in this lifetime. This has been emerging over many lifetimes. And it takes a strong light to take this journey that you've been willing to take in this life, that you are willing to incarnate for, to demonstrate. And I love how Abraham Hicks uses that word a lot. Demonstrate. Be a demonstration of what light actually is, and that it has no bounds and that it has no limitations. You can put all of the dark intention of every corner of the universe, of every universe, and then times it by 100. And then send it to one soul on a mission. By the way, that's you. And that soul will eventually find the light. I don't know what could be more of a miracle than that. And there are many levels that we could explore Christ consciousness on, specifically Christ's demonstration of being divine in a human form. What could be more dark than being nailed up on a cross, not turning to hate, not turning to judgment, not turning to anything like that, but just being present and then demonstrating light immediately after that experience? That's alchemy. That's presence. That's what life is really all about, and that's you. So just take a few breaths here, because I know I've said a lot already. But that comes to your love life, which is what we started this conversation with. Source, Spirit, God will not give you an experience that is not in your soul's highest favor in its present state. It just is not in sync with the laws of the universe. It would mean that nothing means anything if God could just do you a solid and bring you a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the path. Because what I can see on your path is you're actually here for divine partnership in its purest form. And I wasn't going to say the word purest, and they said to me, no, say the word purest. So they actually really deeply, deeply mean that. You are here to you are here to experience relationship in its highest form. And so for those of you who, after the dark night of the soul, or through the dark night of the soul, or you may still be in the dark night of the soul, have experienced relationships falling away, relationships breaking up, recognizing that frickin' every relationship you've been in practically has been a karmic relationship, a 4D aligned relationship. Okay? And now you've done a lot of work on yourself. If you're listening to this, I know you have. I know you've been through hell. Trust me, I get it. And someday I'll express more of my story, but that's not what we're here for today. So God would never, ever, in this divine perfection of reality, give you an experience that is not for the utmost perfection of your soul. And what your soul is here for now is real, pure experiences. And that's why you've seen a lot of your discordant connections fall away. And that can be friendship, love, family, workplace. It can even be your connection with a job or a type of work itself. It can be your relation with anything in this world, but it's becoming more pure over time. I've noticed an incredible quickening and purification from November 11th, 2024 until now, and I'm recording this in early 2025, but just know this is a timeless reading. You'll get it when it's right for you. I have never experienced such acceleration and such purification before. But what's interesting is this time, I'm not fighting, I'm not freaking out, I'm not feeling bad, I'm not, going through all of those things that happen through the dark night of the soul and through our awakening journey in the way that I used to experience it. When I was on a lower frequency, when I held a lot of guilt and shame and sadness and heartbreak and these lower vibrational energies that as empaths, as sensitive beings, as old souls, etc., tend to experience, we tend to turn hurt inward, right? We tend to turn any low frequency we feel upon ourselves. And now I have seen myself not doing that anymore, which tells me the work I've done since 2009 has really accelerated. And so for any of you who are feeling like, okay, I've been doing a lot of work for a really long time, know that it is going to hit acceleration at some point. And when I say acceleration, I mean where it takes on a life of its own and you don't even really need to do the work as much anymore. And so if I could give you anything today other than this love message that, don't worry, I'm going to keep expanding on, but there's just so much that's coming in for you today. If I could give you one encouragement today, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Because if you look at a curve of how success happens or how results happen or whatever, and I'll try to post this somewhere for you so you can get the hang of it. But basically what it looks like is there's a lot of work that goes into it for a really, really long time where it seems like nothing is happening because it's all investment. And by the way, there is a bank of the universe where all of your energy is being invested. And when you can actually receive it, it's going to come cascading in a windfall. And like I said, it's going to take on a life of its own, and it's almost going to feel like you're just a witness now, that like everything's happening on your behalf because you're in alignment with your truest path, where the will of the divine and your will are merged. And so just know that what that looks like is, like I said, it's a very, if you're looking at a graph or a chart, it's a very flat line, right? Where it looks like nothing is happening, nothing's moving, nothing's changing. It would be like if the stock market just stayed the same price every day, or maybe went up like a penny a month or a year. And then all of a sudden something shifts and it just goes moon, right? It just absolutely skyrockets. And so I want you to know that everything you're investing in yourself right now is being returned. That is the law of karma. And it's not a tit for tat. It's not a cause and effect. It's everything that you pour into God, God pours into you. But it works out in perfect divine timing. So that's where divine timing comes in. It's not time. There is no time. We'll talk about that another day. But what's happening is it's a frequency shift. And so you will pour and pour and pour and pour into God. And then eventually you wake up enough where you can pour and pour and pour and pour into yourself if you haven't already. And then when that's enough, now you are more available to blessing. Not that you weren't receiving any before, but it was measured, it was metered before according to the frequency of what you think you could have. But as you just awaken, all of that pouring eventually comes back at the level which you can receive it. And so the reason I'm giving this great preamble to the point of the day is divine love is here for you. And that right partner is here for you. But as soon as you're ready to receive it, as soon as your frequency, your capacity for receiving, your ability to actually be at the pure level of partnership that you have requested. And when I say requested, I mean soul contract. That's when it's going to come in for you. Because you may be at a point where you don't have to work out messy relationships anymore. I had my final one a year ago, my final messy relationship. And this time I was so grateful because it was so short. Like that person couldn't stay with me at my frequency. Like they could pretend for a little bit, but like it only lasted weeks because they could only pretend for so long. They literally could not stand it. So just know, you may find yourself having experiences where relationships just don't stick anymore because you're being prepared for an extremely pure divine relationship, which is the only relationship at this point in your journey that will actually fulfill you. Okay? It's the only relationship that will actually fulfill you. So I'd like us to step into our higher selves for a moment. And we don't need to leave the body. We don't need to do any sort of meditation to do this. We're just going to, in our mind's eye, just decide to look at ourselves from the perception of our higher self. Because I just want to sort of create an understanding here for you. And you may not like it, but I hope it makes sense. So I want you to look at your soul journey as if it's on a timeline, a thread going across space and time. I want you to imagine we've just unraveled your whole soul journey into this beautiful, long, golden thread. And I want you to notice how much longer your soul's journey has been than you've been alive on this earth. So if you've been alive for 50 years or 20 years or 80 years or whatever it is, notice what that looks like in the totality of your soul journey. And I'll give you a moment to just ask yourself that. If I look at my entire soul journey rolled out across the universe, how much time in my soul's path has this lifetime been so far? And you can pause this if you need more time, but what I get is a tiny dot. Literally, my spirit guides just showed me a tiny dot, like boop. Right? So just notice, in the entirety of your soul's experience, this lifetime is one little boop. There's love here for all of us. But that perfected divine partner may be just one small blink of an eye away from us, away from entering our lives. And that's actually the case for some of you on this call. Some of you, listening to this message, some of you have somebody that I see very clearly in your vortex coming in, right? Some of you, you're meant to experience the rest of this life in partnership. So I would say they're showing me an average of 3 years for most of you on this call or listening to this message. So just know that for many of you, that's a reality. But for myself, I'll tell you my experience is I would love to have a divine partner in this life that I can create with, that I can travel with, have adventures with, create a contribution to the planet with, experience passion and sensuality and love and joy and all of the things. And I also know that I'd rather be alone than in a lonely relationship. So just notice how that feels in your body. I would rather be alone in this life than in a lonely relationship, because I'm seeing this from God's perspective now. Okay, and Mother Mary is here with us and she's soothing your heart. I feel Mother Mary soothing the front of your heart chakra and Kuan Yin soothing the back of your heart chakra. So if this conversation is challenging for you on some level, just know that love and support and guidance is always here for you through your guides and through my guides and through this community. So I made a sort of truce with swords. Okay, I made a truce with God and I was like, you know what? I see the bigger picture. And if you need to do your greatest conditioning with me in this lifetime, without me being in that perfect partnership in this lifetime, I'm okay with that. And there's a few reasons I'm okay with that. One is that I know it's such a blip on the radar. It's such a short experience for my entire spirit. And so I'm okay with having a long pre-season before we get into the season, because I know the season is going to be so effing good. If any of you are sports fans out there, especially American football, you know, the more you get done in training camp, the more you figure out your roster, the more you work on your organization, the more you get all your ducks in a row, get everyone going on the same mindset, on the same path, you're going to have a much better season than if you just threw it all together the day before, right? For my UK fans, I love you too. Football, and all over the world, football, same thing. You know how high stress and high demand and high impact these, multi-billion dollar organizations are. So there's a lot riding on that. And you're just as precious. For those of you that hate sports, I am sorry for an analogy that compares you to an athletic organization. But the point stands that I'm in it for the long game. Okay, so that's one. Two is that I want to give myself the spaciousness, the kindness, the care, the self-love to actually pour into myself for as long as needed. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because this is something that nobody's probably ever told you before. I want to pour into myself. Do you know how anemic I felt in my life, devoid of love, devoid of purpose, devoid of meaning for existing, how much I wanted to leave this planet, like so many of you have experienced, how dull, how repressed I felt in my own life for so long, that now that I've come alive, I've done the work, I've done the healing, I've healed my wounds. Now I'm ready to pour into myself. And that's what I've been doing for the past year, I would say. And about 6 months ago, it really clicked in. And so just know that pouring into yourself, you are worth that venture. You are worth that investment. You are worth that experience. And so that's the second reason that I'm okay with God's plan, God's timing. And the third reason is, and this goes for all of you, not just me, but again, I'm giving this to you in my perspective, in my lived experience. The third piece is, the third reason that I'm okay with being alone if needs be, is divine partnership, divine love, divine connection. Every feeling you have ever wanted to feel in partnership is on its way. Like my sister always says about all of her dreams and goals, she always says, you know what, in this lifetime or the next. Because she understands that it's not about outcome. It's not about living for outcome, living for a specific attachment. It's about pursuing, moving towards, being lit up with passion by what you would love to experience. That's the good stuff. That's what it's about. And the thing that you want will come. It will. It has to. It must. There is no other option. But it may not come at the moment you demand it. Now, I'm going to give a little caveat here, because I know some of you are not enjoying this perspective. You can have a relationship. You can have romance. You can even have love. The only reason you don't is because you're not compromising yourself. So take that in for a moment. Any of you could go out and get a boyfriend, a husband, a partner, a whatever, a wife. And by the way, all of my readings are completely not gendered. And so know that everyone has a home here, and the words I use, let them relate to you in a way that they relate to you. Thank you. You could go out and find love, find affection, find physical intimacy, find all of these things. Today, right now, literally pull up an app. It's there for you. And so it's not that God doesn't have love for you available. It's that you've become discerning on a soul level that you want a pure divine partnership. And so this is my takeaway for you today. I want you to do a deep dive within. After this message, I would invite you to do some journaling or some meditation or take a walk or color or dance or do something that allows you to move some energy and to have a think about yourself. And I want you to just think about what I've shared here today and what has been rustled up in your cellular memory. Because it's meant to leave. Notice that. You have been given free will, and you're also on an ascension journey. This is wild. This is why we are the most, like everybody in the universe is jealous of us. It's because we are on the most wild journey anyone has ever had. So please just take notice of this. At the same time that you can have anything that you want, you can get on a dating app, you can go out to the grocery store and pick somebody up, like whatever. You can literally have whatever you want. You just have to get in alignment with that frequency, and you'll meet someone on that frequency, period. It's literally uncomplicated. However, consciously or unconsciously, the only reason that you don't have that if you want it is because you're actually waiting for the right thing. And so just know there is infinite choice here. And you can choose whatever you want. But just know the lay of the land. And know that compromising yourself or settling or doing mental, emotional gymnastics to fit into a relationship, it can be an interesting test run to see if you can even do that anymore at the frequency that you're on. But most likely, it's going to demonstrate that it won't satisfy you until it's the right thing. And so I would invite you to just get clear on that. Get clear on what you want. Get clear on whether you want a Mr. Right or a Mr. Right now, or Ms. Right or a Ms. Right now. Because you'll have it. And if you're okay with releasing the concept of time, just for now, and just being present in the now moment, pouring into yourself in the now moment, letting life pour into you in the way that's available in the now moment. And actually, here's the most important thing I want to say. Noticing how much love is already around you in the now moment. How much love is being poured into you from Source, from your guides and angels and all the beings of purest love and light who work with you, from friends or family, friends who've become family, from the people you connect with that you don't even know, through, videos online or through TV and movies, because that's a real thing too. Movies and TV have helped me process and feel my emotions again. So it's all part of it. From your pets, from strangers who just happen to do you a kindness on the street, from nature, being here, holding your feet. Oh my God, I got emotional even saying that. There's so much love around you. And if that feels really challenging to accept right now, I would invite you to begin with questions. Okay? Questions are an entry point to consciousness. Anytime you feel lost or hurt or confused or you don't know where to go spiritually, questions are the gateway to your consciousness. And so you can just ask, if I could feel the love that's here for me, what would that be like? Where would I go? Where would I find it? What would I experience? So that's what I'm inviting you into here, is if you can feel and experience love around you and you have access to noticing that and filling yourself with that and receiving that, brilliant. If you're not there yet, I love you. Well, I love all of you regardless, but specifically I'm pouring into you. I invite you to get curious and at least give yourself the blessing of asking a question, because your angels will answer for you, your guides, whoever you connect with spiritually will answer the call one way or another. You will be poured into, beginning with yourself. And until then, take as much time to rest, to go within, to laugh, to find little sparks of joy and purpose where you can, because I know for those of you who it feels challenging for right now, I've been you. I completely understand, and not very long ago. What I learned is you need more rest, not less. Less pressure, not more. It's counterintuitive, but Spirit has slowed you down and made things uphill for a reason, because you're actually meant to go slow right now so that you can integrate what you're being prepared for. Okay? So just know that we're all here together on this journey. We're all experiencing different things at different times. Not more or less. It's just like being born earlier or later. Some of us are older, some of us are younger. Same thing in ascension. There's no better or worse, just different ages. So you just know, love is imminent. Love is imminent. In fact, it's here already. Even romantic love. And you can choose it or not choose it. Or you can decide to choose yourself until the caliber of love that you truly desire, that your soul is longing for, until that caliber is available. You can choose yourself. And know that we're all here with you. I know there's much more to this conversation. I know that there are a million different avenues that we can begin speaking about just from what we unearthed here today. But we're going to close for now because that was enough. Know that this is going to be integrated. Know that you can call on Mother Mary and Kuan Yin for support. And what that looks like is just, Mother Mary, can you please help me know the love that's around me? Thank you. It can be as simple as that. And for those of you that are a little Catholic or a little superstitious like me, I like saying the name 3 times. A good friend taught me that gift. We would call on Archangel Zadkiel specifically, but you can call on any archangels. Or a lot of times I just say archangels, and I'll say their name 3 times. So I'll just say, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael. Please heal this wound that I don't know how to heal myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It can be as simple as that, because know that every request you have is answered, it's heard, it's returned to you. And the same thing that I was talking about, the bank of the universe earlier, where everything that you've poured into is poured back into you in the time that you are able to receive that much expansion. Same thing with calling on a guide or an archangel. It will come back to you as you're ready to receive it. Nothing is ever lost in this universe. It's like the laws of thermodynamics. The equations, if those of you who've studied chemistry, the equation has to balance on both sides. That's how everything is in spirituality in this universe too. What is given is received. And it's received with interest. It's expanded, because the nature of this universe is expansion. So not only is nothing that you've poured into your life lost, it's actually coming back to you greatly expanded. It's actually, I shudder. I shudder in a good way to think of how much good is coming back to you. Literally, tears are welling up in my eyes thinking about how much good is coming back to you as you're ready to receive it. And so, as I said, take some breaths, pour into you, welcome the love that's already here, because there's more. And ask questions. And Mother Mary's bringing us a final question for those of you that are like, oh gosh darn it, I just want my divine love. She's saying, ask God, ask the universe, ask me. What step can I take to bring my purest divine partnership into my life? My divine soulmate, the love of my life. Right? Maybe that answer will drop in for you. And maybe it's very soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your spirit, your heart, your attention. I hope that this channeled message has been as much of a blessing for you as it has been for me. I received it too. So I thank you. Because without you, I wouldn't have even channeled this. So just know this is a co-creation. And I honor you for being part of this community. I love you.